A fantastic weekend it was for Max Verstappen in Monza as he won his second race of the season. Off the pitch, brought to you by Azar Studios. Uncanny Sam, and of course, Otuba joins me as we look at what transpired this weekend. Unfortunately, our usual 1-2 McLaren did not happen as Lando Norris and Oscar Piastri, I beg your pardon, and Lando Norris had to play second and third fiddle to world champion, our current world champion, Max Verstappen, over the weekend. It was Verstappen who reigned supreme in Monza and will take it for his second win this season. His first is April. Okay, his third and the first rather since he won in Japan in early April of the season. But fantastic weekend. I did not see it coming personally. I was surprised to see him win it. And but it's shown that, like we said, when they were going for the mid-season break. After the season break, anything and everything is possible. Yeah. Even though we gave him an impossible chance to go on to win the Formula One this year.
It is.
But a lot of things can happen, and just 2 races into the new year, of course, after the mid-season break, we already seen surprises. First, it was a DNF for Lando, and now is Max Verstappen winning his first race since April 2025.
I think coming back was like we predicted, that breath of fresh air. Now, mind you, before they went on that break, I think one of the time he finished 7th, the other time he finished, I think he was never on the podium though
for 3 weeks.
He
finished 4th, 7th,
and 9 also.
And then
no, it's not him that finished.
No, it's
9.
not him. It was Hamilton.
It was Hamilton
that finished 9. Now, coming back from the break last week, he had a fantastic. I'm talking about the first Dutch Grand Prix. Yeah, Zandvoort. Fantastic.
The correction, it was his first. He won in Emilia.
Yeah,
Verstappen won in Emilia.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. This is third Grand Prix.
This is third.
So yeah, this is third Grand
He's
Prix.
won back-to-back in Italy.
Yeah, back-to-back in Italy. Yeah, back-to-back in Italy. No, that was last year now. He won he won in Emilia. Okay, Romano, Emilia. Yeah, then Imola. Yeah, back-to-back in Italy. Then the other distance. Fine. So he came back. The first Grand Prix, I saw him finishing on the podium. And I was like, okay, something is beginning to change. In the second Grand Prix, he was dominant. He got the pole position, mind you, in Italy this time around. In Monza, he got the pole position. I said that is not enough. He finished, the gap between him and Lando Norris was 19 point something second. That is how, you know how it is. Now, if it is up to 10 seconds, it was dominant. That's how dominant he is. And I'm beginning to feel like, okay, we're in for some real, I just thought there's going to be a lot of DNA for the McLaren, because there's going to be a lot of DNA with the way Verstappen is going right now. It might be that this will go down the wire, and it might be
probably the car has been fixed for him. He had enough time
to work on the car. And it might be that sacking Horner is turning out to be a good decision because because before now we didn't see that coming. But come on, you need to give it to the young man. He's an amazing driver. I can't take that away.
We've said it always.
He now had the record of the fastest lap in the history of Formula One. Before now, it was Lewis Hamilton. Then later, Lando Norris. I think he got that last year. But he had the fastest lap in the history of Formula One. That's how dominant he has become all of a sudden after this break. I want to see more of that. I want to see him put these guys on there. Talking about McLaren. Fantastic weekend for him. Amazing performance. I need to see more of this. It means out of the last 50 possible points, he has gotten 30. He has gotten 40.
Yeah, 25
and 15. So he has gotten 40. Just lost just 10. Amazing performance. More to come. For the construction championship, I know it's done and dusted. But for this, it will go down the wire. And
something for Red Bull to smile on.
Of course.
And for me, personally, I think the interesting part of the whole thing that played out in Monza was that issue that played out. And we saw how the young man resisted it. Talking about Lando Norris and Oscar Piastri, I beg your pardon. He resisted at some point, but
it's a team game.
He just had to, succumb to
go by the team order.
The team order. And for critics, they said that particular drama was stage managed. And for them, they feel that it undermines competitiveness.
Probably was the best for them because it was the best for Lando Norris. Maybe not for Piastri, because if London had finished third, the gap between London and of course Verstappen would be shrink, would close down a bit. Yeah. But because he ended the way it ended, that point gap is still there, about 63, and it still gives him that breathing space because we've seen him do a DNF.
Yeah.
Now, it means that it can happen again.
Yeah. The last time the DNF was purely technical issue. There was no accident. Exactly. He was on course. He was supposed to win that Grand Prix.
And then it happened.
I think about 5, 6, 7 more laps to go.
So it means that a DNF can also happen again to him.
Yeah.
2 more DNFs is lost. In fact, 1 more
Everything
DNF is lost the lead.
It's done.
It's completely lost the lead between him and Verstappen. And it is going to be
Babatunde,
shocking.
for those actually trying to say they undermine Piastri. Mind you, for Piastri to win his first Grand Prix, same was done to him. The team have a plan. They say, according by their plan, who is going to pit face Piastri before Lando? And Lando was leading all through. And what happened? Piastri pitted 1.9 seconds. He came out perfect. When it was the time for Lando, now that's where the problem is this, right? McLaren said they were anticipating maybe a yellow flag or a red flag, which mostly happened towards the end of most Grand Prix. I wanted to capitalize on that, but when it was obvious that, look, we need to change our tire, they now asked Lando to pit. When Lando pitted, the process of changing his tire took longer than necessary. They had issue his front tire, the right front tire. It took about 5.9, almost 6 seconds, let's put it that way, for them to be able to change it. Before he come back to the track, Lando has gone ahead of him. They now reach out to Lando, and they were specific. They said, look, you guys have inverted position. It is similar position that we found ourselves in Hungary last year that you benefited from. And that was what led to you winning your first Grand Slam. So you have to slow down. I say Grand Slam, first Grand Prix. So you have to slow down and allow Lando to take over. Now, their claim is this. They're trying to make sure that Charles didn't, come in between them. That's all they're trying to do. They did, in all their claim, they didn't mention Verstappen, but people like us know that. The idea is to use the gap between, because Verstappen is closer to Lando than Piastri. You understand? So they wanted the gap between Verstappen and Piastri to remain a bit, to remain a bit wide. That's my thinking here, because come on, we know that it will be difficult for Charles Leclerc with the Ferrari to be able, or just Russell to be able to overtake
George Russell.
Russell. So it was the idea for me was just make sure that the gap between you, because instead of losing 10 points instead of allowing him to close your gap with 10 points, we rather allow him to close that gap between you and him with just 7 points. Which is what I think 7 points, which is what we saw that day. And so it is a team sport.
They wouldn't want it to go into double digits.
Yes, you have to abide by team decision.
Sure.
And you benefited from the same decision before. So why do you sound it? After the race, he came back and said, no, blah, 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 it was a team arrangement, blah. But why did you resist
in the first place? Yeah.
And we said at some point, we're like, we love what they're doing, but we'll get to a point. I said it here. Yeah. I said we'll get to a point where they will decide who goes first.
And they have to do it.
And they have
now,
to do it.
Because they don't do it now. If he gets closer to them, it becomes a problem.
Because they want to finish the season with 1-2. Like practically everybody has done in the year pass. In most cases, you see two teams. The past 2-3 seasons, Red Bull were doing 1-2 throughout.
So what is that sounding like a broken record? No podium finish again for that man, Lewis Hamilton.
He came close this time around.
6th.
That was the claim, that he came close this time around and he gave a good account of himself. And this is the first time he's racing using a homemade car, which is the Ferrari. It's an Italian car. So they expected so much from him. The fans really trooped out for his sake. Somehow he improved. Last time we saw him finish, I think 7. This time around 6. Maybe next time he's going to be 4th. Then he get to the podium.
Like Kim Antonelli and Isaac Kaja this weekend, point position again for the young stars. 19 years, 20 years, doing so well for themselves. I'm impressed with the both drivers.
Particularly Hadia. Mind you, he was taught last week. Last week.
He benefited from the
DNF. From the DNF of this thing he was taught. I'm talking about Isaac Kaja. Now he's another point awarding position. Amazing driver for Racing Bull. For me, he should be promoted to be
lead driver,
not to be the guy that will be driving with what was his name, Verstappen. Because Yuki Tsunoda has been a mess, a terrible mess.
I agree.
I wonder why he was promoted instead of him. Because come on, Isaac has been more consistent than him, finishing far better than him. The reason why we're not even talking about the construction, I don't think
Tsunoda has finished in
he has finished even the last Grand Prix. The last Grand Prix.
Podium.
No, podium. No, not at all. Not even close.
He has not smelt it.
That's what I was going to. Not point awarding.
No point. Okay, point awarding, value 1 point, 2 point. He has the third lowest point, I think. Either the third or the fourth lowest point. If you go back and check their point position. So it's the reason why we're not even talking about, imagine him finishing second or third. Third or fourth around Max Verstappen. They would have still been mounting pressure on McLaren, even though McLaren would have,
championship, even though they have kept
it. Endorsed it already. Nobody.
Especially now that there's a predicted DNF that could happen. Now the race goes to Azerbaijan this weekend.
Baku to be precise.
Baku to be precise. Any surprises? Verstappen.
Well, I expect Verstappen to continue.
Yeah, I don't think so. I think they will.
And I'm expecting another DNF probably. For the McLaren, I don't know who's going to have the DNF. I'm expecting another DNF. I want competition.
On the McLaren drivers
I want competition.
In my own opinion, I feel it will take a miracle of epic proportion for anybody to stop Max Verstappen.
Fine, you agree with
me? Azerbaijan?
Yeah.
You think he will win it back to back?
He should. What we saw,
fastest lap.
He will.
No, let's turn the position.
With what we've seen of him in Monza.
It will
should
be difficult.
not a will.
He looked better and
So
sharper.
you're not
the truth
sure?
is this, right? The truth is right. The two McLaren drivers have actually struggled since coming back from the break. Their cars have become a
I
bit
agree.
slower. It's a fact. Their cars have become a bit slower.
Asensio,
think
it
that-
might not be a stroll in
no,
the park,
X
but
too
it
much
will
in
still
the
win
break.
I
it.
don't know.
No, the X too much. The burgers in their system. He's taking time for the burgers to do. So
their cars
guys,
become.
are you saying he will or he should?
He will.
For me,
Okay.
he should.
Okay, for you,
He will.
For me,
For
he
me,
won't.
For me, he should.
Well, we went to see, of course, the race, the tracks, the cars now moved to Baku, Azerbaijan, for yet another, I think number what it should be now. I think
That should be number, because 13, that's number 16.
race number 16 of
Yeah,
the
race number
season.
16.
So, we're gradually winding down to the
Because
end of
we
the
went on the break on race number 13.
Yes.
So we've actually
Yeah.
had two, which is 15. So race number
race
16.
number
Yeah.
16. Okani Sam said Verstappen.
Should win.
Agba is also backing in with Verstappen, but for me,
Straight up.
I think McLaren drivers will come back this weekend. Abba, 3-point result. I don't think 3 races after the break, 3-point result. I don't think it was, even though they've won one,
They've won one,
but
yeah.
it was still poor because
Zandvoort,
we know
yeah.
what happened at Zandvoort. Unfortunately for Lando,
You know,
he couldn't finish the
You know what's
race.
giving this confidence? The gap. It's 19 seconds. That tells you something right is going on with it.
No, it just tells you
Red
that maybe, like I said, maybe they have become too cocky with themselves. They are leading.
That's
They
another
feel like
argument.
it's not working. But right now, when they look at it, Verstappen is coming. They need to tighten their belt. If not, well, it will take a miracle of every portion. Let's use Otuba's words. But 2 DNF would entirely ruin the season, and Verstappen is back in it.
Yes, it will. It will.
2 DNF will ruin the season for Piastri, and Verstappen is back. 1 DNF for Lando Norris, Verstappen is back.
Yeah.
Because 25 points to 0, 25 cuts down 63, and then it means the man is back in it. But wait to see how it pans out. Of course, for the both guys, it's Verstappen again for Baku. But for me, I think the McLaren guys will be back on it and will take pole and we'll finish 1-3. But who wins it is what I'm not sure who wins it this time around. Off the pitch, brought to you by Azar Studios.